All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're skipping right past the introductory biology stuff and jumping straight into the structural foundations of what is honestly one of the most elegant and transformative processes on our entire planet. We are talking about biological evolution. I mean, just take a second to ponder the sheer scale of biological diversity around us. Seriously, from extremophiles that are somehow thriving in literally boiling thermal vents deep in the ocean to the massive, intricate complexities of avian and marine life. How exactly did Earth transform into this diverse marvel? Well, science breaks this grand, solvable mystery down into specific mechanisms. It's a continuous, multi-million-year journey of species diversifying from earlier forms. Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the engine of evolution. So, Charles Darwin introduced the foundational concept of natural selection. This is the mechanism where organisms that are better adapted to their environment simply tend to survive longer and produce more offspring. And here's a fun fact. Darwin didn't actually use that famous phrase, survival of the fittest, until his 5th edition. The absolute key takeaway here is that evolution is definitely not a random process. Not at all. It acts as a highly specific, non-random filter dictating how certain traits gain prominence based entirely on survival and reproduction. Moving right along to Section 2, how natural selection works. We're zooming in from the big picture now to look closely at the step-by-step mechanical gears of survival. Let's walk through this massive concept like it's a mathematical equation, breaking it down into 4 logical steps to see exactly how natural selection operates on a genetic level. Step 1. Variations exist. Within any population, individuals just naturally display genetic differences. Step 2. Environmental conditions shift, presenting a brand new challenge. Step 3. The organisms that happen to have variations best suited to this new environment are the ones that survive. And finally, Step 4. Those advantageous traits are genetically passed down to the next generation. And this brilliantly illustrates variation in action. Let's ground this with a concrete example. A population of bacteria, like E. coli. Even within the exact same species, individual bacteria display differences in their traits. Maybe some can utilize available nutrients just a little bit more efficiently. Well, if their primary food source suddenly changes, only the bacteria with that advantageous genetic mutation are going to thrive and reproduce. Basically, the environment sets the test, and variation provides the solution. Over time, those specific helpful traits become prevalent. Which brings us to a biological term that gets misunderstood all the time: fitness. In biology, fitness has absolutely nothing to do with physical strength or hitting the gym. It's purely a reflection of how well suited an organism is to survive and reproduce within its specific environment. And crucially, for natural selection to actually work, these traits that enhance survival must have a genetic basis. If they aren't encoded in the DNA, they can't be passed down. Let's shift our pacing a bit for Section 3, the role of time. Time is the crucial variable that allows these small mechanical steps we just talked about to result in massive biological changes. But the rate of evolution varies wildly. Look at microorganisms like bacteria on the left. They reproduce at a tremendously rapid pace, which means their generations turn over fast, allowing for extremely quick evolutionary changes. Now contrast that with larger organisms like birds or fish on the right. They have much longer lifespans and reproduction cycles. For them, it requires millions of years for notable adaptations to visibly manifest. The mechanism is identical. It's just the speed of the evolutionary clock that changes. Let's move backward in history to see how this builds. Section 4, before and around Darwin. Darwin definitely didn't develop these ideas in a vacuum. Long before him, a French naturalist named Jean-Baptiste Lamarck proposed that traits acquired during an organism's lifetime were passed on to their offspring. Think of it like this. If a giraffe stretched its neck a lot to reach high leaves, Lamarck thought its babies would automatically be born with long necks. We now know that's just not how it works. So the crucial point is contrasting Lamarck's discredited theory of acquired traits with Darwin's correct focus on genetic inheritance. It's the inherent genetic variations you're born with that matter, and that remains the bedrock of evolutionary biology today. Darwin also had a vital puzzle piece handed to him by an economist, Thomas Malthus. Malthus made observations about the severe limitations on resources within populations. There's simply never enough food, space, or resources for everybody. Influenced by this, Darwin highlighted the intense struggle and competition organisms inevitably experience for survival. This fundamental struggle forces the issue. It's what drives natural selection, resulting in some individuals succeeding while others don't, which forever shapes the traits of future generations. Let's zoom back out from the historical context to look at the massive result of all these mechanisms working together. Section 5, the endless evolutionary journey. The ultimate overarching outcome of all this is what Darwin called branching descent. It's the profound realization that all species actually originate from common ancestors. Because these adaptations are heritable over immense time periods, as populations spread and face new challenges, they adapt and split. This creates a vast, interconnected tree of life where every single branch represents a unique evolutionary solution to a specific environmental problem. To summarize everything we've covered in this explainer, evolution is both an ongoing process and a final outcome. The living organisms we encounter today, including you and me, are absolutely not finished products. We represent a profound, ongoing journey of survival. We're just the current snapshot of an intricate process driven by natural selection acting on genetic variations over millions of years. But remember, our world is constantly changing. So I want to leave you with a question to ponder about the future of adaptation. In this rapidly shifting modern environment, what new advantageous traits might future species need to survive the next evolutionary chapter? Keep analyzing, keep questioning, and I really hope this explainer gave you the foundation you need